Hello. Hi, good morning, everybody. How are we all today? Good. It's great to see so many of you here today. I know it's a new day of the week for us doing these breakfast briefings. We're delighted to have you here at the Foundry for today's Grow with Google breakfast briefing. For those of you who don't know me, which is probably all of you because I usually don't open these, my name is Maeve Larkin. I'm a member of the Irish Google customer sales team here in the Dublin office. And yeah, like I said, it's not only the first time for me to be up on stage welcoming you all, but it's actually a bit of a first for us in the timings of our breakfast briefings. For most of you who've been to one of the breakfast briefings before, we usually run these on a Friday morning, so usually the first Friday of the month. And this month we decided we'd try something a little bit different and have you all join us in the middle of the week on a Wednesday instead. And there are a few reasons for that, but mainly it's just because we sometimes receive feedback that Fridays can be a little bit difficult to kind of make it into Google, take a few hours off. And we totally understand as the week goes on and your to-do list grows and you've got a million urgent things to do before you clock off for the weekend. So sometimes Fridays don't suit everyone. So we thought we'd try middle of the week and see if that suited people a little bit more instead. And we'll be sending a survey after today's session to get your feedback. But just while I have you all in the room, I'd love to get a sense of how you feel about the new timing. So can I get a show of hands for people who prefer this Wednesday, find it a little bit easier to come in the middle of the week? Okay, interesting. And anyone who prefers the Friday and would rather go back to the original end of week? Great. So we'll keep you all happy. I'm sure we'll find a day of the week that suits everyone. Well, thanks for your feedback. We will be sharing a survey and kind of capture your thoughts on today's session and the speaker. So do let us know how you feel and we'll kind of do as best as possible to suit as many of you as possible going forward, which sounds like a tough task. In that survey also, if you do fill that in, you'll also get a link to be able to use the content that's shared today, so don't worry too much about taking too many notes. And the presentation itself will also be available on YouTube for you to view again next week. So for any colleagues who weren't able to make it today, it will be available for them to view next week. Okay, so on to today's session. We have a brilliant session lined up for you today. For those of you who were here last month, you heard from Kelsey, one of our YouTube leads, all about how to use video to drive performance. And we had some really great feedback from attendees. They found the session really, really useful. It was our first session on YouTube of the year in the breakfast briefings. So today we're kind of following on from that session and we're going to learn all about video creative. We're going to learn all about how important creative is, which it is hugely important. Here in Google, we see that about 75% of an ad's performance and impact is down to creative quality. So it is really, really important for every business to succeed. So we're going to learn all about how important creative is. We're going to learn about what good creative looks like, how to build a really good strategy, and we'll also learn a little bit about what we can do here in Google to help you, what tools and resources are available for you to succeed. Today's speaker is Jan Aiken, which the spelling of his name, you'll see as I flick forward, you wouldn't necessarily know that's how you pronounce it, but it's a lovely name. It means life in Turkish, which I learned this morning. So today, Jan has worked in Google for 5 years. He's a product lead for YouTube for performance in EMEA, and he works with direct clients as well as agency teams, and he's completely passionate about creative strategies and video performance. So there's no better man to be speaking to you on this topic this morning. Jan's going to speak for about 40 minutes, and he said that he is willing to take questions throughout the content if you have any burning questions. However, we will allow 10 minutes at the end to take any of your questions, so do think about anything that he's presenting and any questions that you have. There will be time to answer those at the end. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jan to the stage. Welcome.
Thanks, mate. Hello, how are you guys? Thanks for coming. It's a lovely Irish weather in August, and we're here all in the morning. So this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, creative, right? But I do appreciate that I'm seeing so many of you guys here. So early morning, not so good weather, and you're still here. I guess you guys know how important that is as well. Before we start, first of all, I just want to see some hands. How many of you guys were here last month's breakfast briefings? Kelsey did. Okay, fair bit. Some of the content that Kelsey did, I'm going to reiterate this because it's really important for you to see it again. And for those of the ones who were not here, don't worry about it. It was YouTube for Action in last month's content, and this month it's going to be more on creative. But I'm going to touch on points where it's fairly important. All right, before we got into it, I want to ask a question to you guys. Why video is important? I want to hear from you guys. What do you think, in terms of years, what will be the watch time, monthly watch time by 2021? How many years of content will be watched every month by 2021? What do you think? Shout. 20 years? 200 years? 2,000? I'm increasing like an auction. It's good, but more. Guys, it's going to be 5 million years of content will be watched. And in terms of the size, Cisco also says that by 2021, 80% of the whole internet traffic will be done via videos. And it's intuitive, right? So it's easy for us to consume the content via video or something that takes less of an effort than going back and reading the whole article. Sad, but true, and this is the world we're in. Creative is an important topic because it is an important part of video. And various studies show that from 50% to 80%, it is one of the biggest multipliers of the success in video, right? So that's why it's important for you, and that's why it's important for your business. Can I see of hands how many of you guys are here for actually for your business? Okay, that's a good sign. Traditionally, what we always thought was, when I go talk to people, what do you think about video? And they always have this image. You know what, I can't employ the 10 people coming to my office and with the big gadgets, because it used to be like that, right? We used to think that it's going to take a lot of time of ours, and it's going to be highly costly to produce something. What we end up is, like Casey, one of our YouTubers, a very famous one, you only need one simple machine to create a content. So it got fairly much more easier by the technology that you don't need those big machines anymore. You can use them, it's good, but you don't absolutely need them. So today what I'm going to try to do is try to demystify, try to tell you the ways how we can do a lot more, how to do so much more with way less than what you have in your mind, right? But let's get one thing clear. How you speak to your audience really matters. So it really matters. It's really important that you need to think about your brand, you need to think about your environment, and then how you communicate to your audience. And we're going to go with this. All right. First of all, I'm telling you, advice to make a comment about a video, right? The easiest way to say that is that because you're a consumer, when you're on YouTube, when you see a good ad, good content, good video, you feel it, you know it. Nobody has to tell you that, oh, it is good, because you already feel it. And that's why some of them become viral, some of them become good ad that pushes you to take an action. So rather than thinking, oh, you know what, I don't know anything about creative. I am not a creative director. No, you know a lot because you can sense it, you can feel it. You've been consuming it anyways, so you know how it looks like. But today we're going to look from two different perspectives. The first one is going to be, let's understand our environment. See, the platform is important for us, and this is going to be common principles that you can use for all kind of your objectives. But the second part we're going to have a look is how are we going to communicate our brand? What's going to be our marketing objectives, and how can we integrate them into our content? Let's start with the environment. First of all, we need to acknowledge that users are mobile. They are using the device of mobile. I purposely brought my phone with me, and I'm going to show you lots of examples. I turn it off, not to get any notifications, to embarrass myself. But you need to always remember that more than 70% of whole internet traffic is coming via mobile, right? So this is not something new, and Ireland is not so different from the rest of the global world. The second thing is, they are immersed. You need to think about the experience that your users are facing with. And when you're in doubt, I tell you to actually do it by yourself. Rather than open up a YouTube video and see how you experience it. When you open up, you are there to watch it, right? You first choose your video, you turn it around, and that is the time for you to actively watch it, rather than scrolling down. So this is a different behavior for users. The third one is they're absolutely impatient. They're on the go. Even that explains when you're on mobile, you're on the go, your attention it's a lean-in attention, you're on the phone, but you need to be quick because people are there to watch their content. And we're going to explain more into this. So what we need to do is we need to make it snappy. We need to leverage sight and sound. And we also need to win the first 5 seconds. These are the 3 principles that we're going to emphasize throughout our presentation. So first of all, the first principle. When I say build for mobile, obviously the first thing is that how would it look if I open it up on a mobile, right? If somebody comes to you with a content, with an idea, you always have to ask yourself, how would it look if I open up in my phone? Because that's what's going to be. People are going to use their phones to consume your content. What we see is, common mistake is people start using the creatives as they used to be from a TV mindset. But in mobile world, the texts need to be framed up close to the characters. You might imagine that I might be going around and watching the content. I might have a low battery, so that's why my brightness could be low, right? It might be due to the fact that I don't need so much time, so I can skip. So you need to be having a fast pace. But examples speak better than what I tell you. I'm going to show you this example first of all. This is Neutrogena, one of our clients. And this is the campaign from 2016. It looks nice. It looks neat. It looks fresh. And it is, right? It's not a bad ad. But it's built for 55-inch screen. It's built for TV. When you try to consume this content from your mobile, the words get so small, you really need to put so much effort to read in, right? What we did is we worked with them, and for 2017, we came up with their YouTube strategy. And it looks like this. Can you see the difference? The product is up there, up front. You don't need to put any effort in it. You can see your brand. The text overlay is bold and big, and it kind of gives you the message, right? Rather than you trying to take the effort to understand what that actually is and read the text, it just shows you right away in the first start. Here's another example, and this time it's video. By the way, guys, I brought lots of videos. Some of them are from, you would see from last month's content, Kelsey's content, but I want to show you what a good ad looks like, right? So this one is from Klondike, and that's an ice cream brand. This was built for TV, 55-inch screen. First, I want to show you this, and then how you can make quick and short, easy edits. Can we roll the video, please?
The gravity here is too strong for my ship.
Looks like you'll have to spend the night.
Yeah, the night.
One thing led to another, and
I don't think that's how they're made.
Klondike hooks up with your favorite flavors to bring you the best ice cream bars ever conceived.
It's a nice one. It's funny, it's humorous. You would probably spend some time to understand what is going around here, right? But what we did to edit this for mobile is, first of all, we got the characters up front. You can see their brands, you can see actually their face, you can see the brand up front, and it's a faster pace. People don't need to spend so much time to understand what it is, rather than we quickly brought it into the consumer by having a faster pace. With this short edits, tighter framing, fast pace, they got 15% better brand metrics. They performed 15% better than the previous ad. Can you believe this? with just small edits with the same asset, you can get 15% better. Another principle that I want to talk, this is the second one, is using sight and sound. This is very important. How many of you guys are familiar with our TrueView ad, which is the basic one? How many of you guys? All right. So this TrueView ad, what we call, is one of our basic formats, which user cannot skip for the first 5 seconds, and then they have the liberty to skip it, right? So we give this opportunity to them. The point over here is that the cool thing for the platform brings to the user, if they don't want to watch and go straight into cats videos, they can. It's kind of scary for an advertiser, right? At the end of the day, you're thinking, but wait, but it's not really good for us. Actually, it's an opportunity. Because as they can skip, it's not the biggest budget that wins in the environment, but it's the most creative one. And creative, by me saying creative, you don't have to be like coming with a huge different perspective. I'll show you what kind of templates we can use. But you need to get to the client, in front of your client, with the correct, suitable one. You're targeting them anyways, but you need to find the correct way of doing it. Our platform always brags about, you know what? We have 95% viewability rate. According to industry standards, viewability means that your ad is supposed to be on the screen. More than half of your ad should be visible for at least 2 seconds, right? And what we say, our content is 95% visible. Meanwhile, industry is around 60%. So there's a huge difference. And some of the social platforms even calculate it as 30% viewable. So only 3 out of 10 is actually possibly seen by the consumer according to industry standards. Another one is being 95% audible. So why is this important for us? Think about it again. I have my phone. This is an experience that I'm viewing on YouTube. I opened up. I am there to actively watch it. I'm not scrolling down at the moment, and I have the voice on. The sound is on. So that means that if you're not actually using the power of sound and audio, you're missing a whole lot of opportunities there. What can you do with the audio, right? What are some possible ways? I've seen so many examples, so many good videos without having any kind of audio. And I'm like, are we missing something? Is it the wrong asset? Because when you have this opportunity, why not using it? Some of the ways you can use, you can play music in the background. And that's what we usually do. That kind of gives you what kind of a brand you are, what kind of emotions that you want to convey to the user. The second thing you can use, you can actually say your brand name, your product name, so that they'll hear it while watching it. You can tell a story about your brand, right? You can do the narration by the audio. Or you can tell them what to do, kindly, right? You can reinforce your call to action. You got the audio, right? You have to think about your audio perspective. How am I going to use? What's the tone I'm going to use? But how about the visuals? Text overlays. In this part, you don't need to get too creative, please, because I've seen texts like coming here, jumping in. You don't need that. There's a whole lot of buttons going on in the ad, in the interface, depending on the format that you use. So the best way is to have it in the blue area without any obstruction. Because if you use different formats, you might have different buttons coming up in your ad. All right? This is the part you're going to get less creative. The third principle that I want to mention, how to win in the first 5 seconds. Because that is one of the most crucial parts, and that's the difference between so many other platforms. The user has the liberty to skip your ad, but first 5 seconds, they're there. So it's basically an audition for you guys. In the first 5 seconds, you do something, you have to win over the crowd. And remember this, I want to keep reminding you this is, you are, at the end of the day, not showing your ad to everybody. It's not like, you know what, I'm going to show an ad to Ireland. No, you target your audience. There are various methods that you can target, but at the end of the day, you know who you are reaching, right? In the first 5 seconds, what are you going to communicate to them? And it might differ from one crowd to another. Let's see, 2 examples. I brought the examples from automobile industry because they're very well established. We know them, and they have been in the market for such a long time. But usually they are more on the traditional side. They've been using TV. The first example will be from TV ad, and the second one is going to be from their YouTube campaign. Can we play the first one, please?
When exploring your options, the search is on for the most peaceful road, the most peaceful drive, the most peace of mind. A Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned vehicle comes with a 6-year or 120,000-kilometer warranty. So be confident your search led you down the right road. Visit your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer to learn more about our Standard Star certified warranty and exceptional offers with finance rates from 0.9% on select models. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
What do you think? How many of you guys would skip this ad after the first 5 seconds? Nice, good. We're on the same page. I would skip this ad. It's not a bad ad, but it's made for TV. So you kind of assuming, if you're giving a TV ad, you kind of assuming that they lean back and they're not changing the channel. So they're there to watch, which is questionable, but still, this is the idea. But in terms of YouTube ad, we asked them, what are you trying to say? So they said, I'm trying to promote my used car services. So at the end of the day, they came up with another video working with us. Can we please roll that one?
Hey Jack, I've got new ones.
You look really grown up. Very smart, Jack.
Like your sisters.
Can I have that?
Jack,
I like the way you work it, no diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you.
It is much less likely that you would skip, right? At least one time you would watch it, because it starts with an interesting feature, with a twist, rather than the traditional part. Well, you can use in the first 5 seconds humor. You can use suspense. There are various tactics that you can do in terms of feelings. But I want to emphasize one thing. When you think of a creative, you need to think with a different way. We've always been thinking the creative story arc in terms of a traditional way. This is the way that we've been exposed to, right? First of all, you get into the story, it builds in, and it takes like around 20, 25 seconds to have the climax, the big reveal. And by that time, your user is gone. I think I would change the channel anyways as well, right? With the YouTube ads, what we're saying is that try to use emerging story arc. You have 5 seconds that all of your targeted clients are there, right? They cannot skip. Why not using this time efficiently? So what we say is that start high, and then wherever possible, reinforce your message, your brand, your product. Examples speak better. You've seen this last month's presentation. Let's have a look at it again. The left one is going to be from TV ad, traditional story arc. The right one is for YouTube.
Diana. Fighting does not make you a hero.
what if I promise to be careful? Just a shield then.
Diana.
No sharp edges.
Be careful of mankind, Diana. They do not deserve you.
You've told me this story.
Stop it. Let's have a look at the YouTube-related one. So this one started, it took a while to get to the big reveal, right? Let's have a look at the YouTube one. That's it. That's it. In 5 seconds, you can actually give all what you want to say to them, because at the end of the day, you're promoting something. They're there for the first 5 seconds. You have to tell whatever you want to say up front, and then you can continue, by the way. It doesn't have to finish to here, right? And that's what they did when they're having the official trailer for Wonder Woman. So at the end of the day, for this section, what I wanted to emphasize is that you need to remember 3 things for your environment. First one, you need to build for mobile. Always have it in the back of your mind. The second one, you need to use both sight and sound to win your audience in the first 5 seconds. And the third one is, please have the emerging story arc rather than the traditional story arc. Believe me, it works better. Because we've been watching, I don't know, maybe more than 500 videos. My mom thinks that I'm on YouTube all the time, but actually I'm doing for my work, right? So the second part, we need to think about your marketing objective. So the left part was valid for everybody. Now this section, I want you to think about your brand and how we are going to communicate your message. There are 3 parts in a nutshell, if you want to bring them together. What we say, lower funnel to upper funnel. Upper funnel is the one that you communicate your brand for brand awareness, or your product for ad recall, right? You want to give a message saying that, you know what, this is my brand, I'm here. On the mid section of the funnel, what we say is consideration. You want them to consider your product, your brand in a certain way. And down on the lower funnel, what we say is that these are the people have the most intention to take an action. It can be filling out a form, it can be a purchase, or it can be going website, do a specific action that you want. But these are the specific people that you go after. And that is the part of action. And this was what last month's breakfast briefing was about. Let's start from the beginning, right? Whatever you do, you need to think about your brand and ad, and you need to mention this in the first 5 seconds, because you're going after your brand as well. And we can either do it explicitly or authentically, but first, make a decision which one I'm going to go after. Is it brand awareness, ad recall, top of the funnel, or I want them to take an action? But make sure you use your brand accordingly. Let's see an example from brand awareness or ad recall. What you need to do at this point is you need to speak to your audience, show or mention your product or brand early and often, right? You need to actually say it and show it. I have a video. I have an ask from you guys. If possible, I want you to count how many times they say or show I create or Swift. Okay, this is our goal for this video. And I'll ask. Nobody wins anything, but this is my kind ask. Let's roll the video, please.
I create my color, my valor, my sheen, my shine, my throne, my zone. I create me all that I choose to be. I create my Swift, my Swift, my Swift, my Swift.
I'm like no one else, nor is my Swift. Presenting I Create, a unique personalization experience from Maruti Suzuki. Now with Swift.
I think it was around 700. Right? Swift, I Create, Swift logo, the wheel, everything comes like... By the end of the video, you know one thing, Swift, I Create. Okay? So this is the purpose of this campaign, to remind you, to tell their audience that we have a new product. We have a new way of doing cars. Let's see an example from consideration. Here, you can have a subtle branding or late reveal. And I have an interesting ad that I want to share with you guys. It's from Barbie. You know, they've been struggling with their image for some time, and they want to change the way that their audience considers them, right? And here's the ad that they made. Let's see it.
Hello, my name is Gwyneth, and I'll be your professor today. And I will be talking about the brain. Hello. Hello, I'm your veterinarian today.
You're kidding.
Nope, I'm Dr. Brooklyn. See?
Okay, doctor.
Oh, here, let me see. Good morning, everyone. I'm your new coach. My name is Maddie. Nice to meet you. I had the most fantastic day in the office. You'll never believe what happened. We got that new business I wanted. Have you ever seen him fly?
Have you seen him what?
Fly?
No.
My cat can fly.
Okay.
The dog's brain can't think as much as the human's brain because there's no high school for the dog. This is Peter, the Triceratops. Peter is 1 year old. The T-Rex, Sally, is 1,02,252 years old. Knees up like a unicorn. Higher, higher. I've been to New York, Transylvania, Pennsylvania. We can think and do lots of stuff with our brain. Now, does anybody know how big the brain is? Anybody? Sophia. It is medium. Medium. Very good.
I think it's a great ad. And if you're trying to say that, oh, they're trying to push to increase their sales, no. They don't have to. That's the point. It depends on your marketing objective. It depends what you need to do, what you need to communicate. But it's only you can decide on this. The worst thing for us to have a client and saying, when we ask, what do you want to do? They're like, I don't know. Like, what are we going to do now then? Is it your brand or is it a product? Are we increasing your sales? Or are we filling a form? Do we work on your image? It's only you that can decide on this, right? Please have your objective very clear in your mind. How about if somebody is lower funnel, as we spoke before, they are willing to take an action. Could be purchase, forms, website visit, anything, right? And here is the part that we spoke of, action. And we have a new product for that, which is YouTube for Action as a format. But here what's important is you can, and it's a good way of starting, to open up with a strong problem statement and how you address it as your product and brand. You can front load the offer and repeat, and you certainly need to have a very strong call to action. The guiding principle over here is you need to be clear about this, right? Rather than telling 10 things at the same time, you want to tell them what is the thing that you want to communicate. So you have to offer a clear value to them. And while using the format, it's obviously YouTube for Action. And you can watch Kelsey's presentation from our YouTube channel. But this is the format. How about the creative approach? I know that people are coming to us and asking, you know what kind of templates? What is the first thing that we can start? How should we start thinking about this? I'll give you 3 examples, 3 templates after watching those 100 videos, right? These are the ones that emerge the most to us. The first one is the explainer, the second one is the demo, and the third one is the straight offer. The first one to start with is establishes a problem and then explains how to solve it with your brand. Have you guys seen Grammarly? Yes. I know, because I've seen it 1 million times, and in my own account. And I don't think they're just targeting me because I have a terrible English, or I need it. Sometimes, most of the time I need it. But they are doing a heavy advertisement, but the way that they do is explaining their product. Let's roll the video.
If you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly.
Grammarly is like my secret weapon for writing papers.
It catches my grammar errors, spelling errors, and even helps me find the right words to use.
It's like having your own personal proofreader for free.
Download for free at Grammarly.com.
Right? You're going to do mistakes, and I'm going to fix it for you. That's what they say. The second example is a company that fixes phones, and it's kind of like a lower budget ad. Let's roll this.
Introducing Pulse. Broken phone? We fixed that. It couldn't be easier. We'll be there in a heartbeat 7 days a week. Check us out at pulse.com. Pulse, for the ups and downs of digital life.
They say your phone is going to get broken, and we're here to fix it. That's it, problem statement and how they solve it. The second part is template is demo. So they cut straight to the showing off the product, how it works. The way that it can be a service as well, and the way that it can be showing how the website works as well. So the previous example had some features of the demo as well, right? They showed the website, how you use it, and it's fairly easy to use it, kind of it. This one, or you can use a product, show them how to use it. Let's play the video, please. Very simple, but they just show, okay, this is the product, and that's how you use it. The third part is the straight offer, and this is the part that many of you guys want to use it as well. This is the one that you don't bother with problem statement or else. You just cut right into whatever you're offering, your discount, or whatever the deal you have. Right? So this one, you can use it if your brand is very well known, or if your brand is low consideration category. But you can also say, you know what, I already communicated my brand. I know who I'm targeting. I just want them to take an action, so I'm going to get with the straight offer. Let's have some examples from Kayak.
Looking for flights? Use Kayak to search the travel sites you already use, and hundreds more, to find the best deals for you. Go to kayak.co.uk.
They say, I'll bring the best deals. Simple. The second one that you can also use, this one I like, because it's almost like a stock video image, that the video in the background is fairly very simple, and you just put your brand, your product, the prices of it. Let's roll it. A Singapore example from Decathlon, right? Guys, I'm targeting the people who are searching for camping products, right? In Google search bar. I am targeting for the people who are interested in camping. I know who I'm reaching. So why would I bother? I'm just going to show them what they're looking for, and I'm just going to show the prices. So to sum it up at this section, before going into that, actually, I want to reiterate one thing over here. It is okay for our ad to feel like an ad, right? If you're addressing the desires, the needs of your client, you know that they're looking for it. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to make one creative. Nobody is going to understand it's a creative. No, it's okay to feel like an ad as long as you're satisfying the needs of your clients. So all in all, we had 3 principles on the left side. For the environment, what we said was build for mobile, use sight and sound effectively to win in the first 5 seconds, and use the emerging story arc. On the right-hand side, what we said is 2 principles. You need to think about your brand, what your objective is, and then you need to offer clear value to them. It might be different templates that you can use. You can go with straight offer, you can go explainer mode if your product is not known or people are not aware of their problem yet that you're solving, but you need to still follow these 2 points. So one of the crucial points, how do I start? What do I do? I want a creative. I don't know where to start. First of all, the thing that I would say, if you're working with a Google Ads representative, please talk to them, right? They're doing this every day, and they'll be so much more helpful for you to point you out into correct direction, right? Or at least seeing the ad with you, having like a consultation. The second thing what I can offer you is we build a service, it's called YouTube Creative Directory. These are the creative agencies that we train them on YouTube-specific content. The cool thing about this is that I like, you have fair representation in terms of prices as well. It might be something from a fairly cheaper price, less than $100, and they use tools and machine learning to come up with a creative. Obviously, this is going to be basic, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to work. Or you can have full-service creative solution where these kind of agencies do from scratch to everything, right? This is not us. This is third-party service, but we train them on the YouTube-specific areas, and even a little bit more in detail, obviously. So Till this point, we looked overall the industry, we looked at your marketing objectives. I wanted to give you guys an overall view of where to start, how to start, give you kind of boost your confidence a little bit. You know, in the next meeting you're going to go, you'll be like, you know what? I actually have a few things to say about my creative. Right? I want you to be there actively thinking about your ad, and now you can make comments. I wanted to encourage you to do that. Till this point, I would like to ask if you guys have any questions. I'm more than happy to take questions. If it's something unrelated, I'll address it. I can address it later on, but please feel free. Maeve, help me.
Well done, Jack.
Thank you.
Great. So I think we all learned a lot in that session. I'm still getting my head around that first stat of 50 million hours worth of video watch time every month, which is a bit crazy. But we do have time for some questions, and I'd love you guys to ask any burning questions that you have while we have Jan here on stage. Maybe while you're thinking of any at the moment, I'll just remind you, I saw a few guys taking pictures. If you are posting on social media, if you could use the hashtag #GrowWithGoogle, that would be great. So opening it up to you guys. Any questions on the floor? Have one down at the front here. Have to use the throwing microphone, which scares everyone.
Good morning.
Hi.
Very well done.
Thank
I have a startup. I have a very tight budget, and I'll be kicking off with explainer-type programs.
Right.
What budget do I really need to be considering? I'll be chasing a UK and an international market, but it starts from a core pilot in Ireland. So what budgets do I need to?
Right. So there are two. Thanks for your question. It's a great question. There are two aspects of it, right? First one is advertising budget. The other one is creative budget. The more you save from creative, obviously you can invest more on your ads. So what I would do if I was in your shoes, I would go talk to the agencies or the people who create these in terms of what are the offers that they're supporting. If you really have a lot of budget and you know what, I want a really good one to enter the market, I got a really good, strong investment from third parties, you might go with the full service, right? But if you think that you can tell your problem, if you have an idea of telling the problem in a fairly simple way, with even static images, giving them and putting some wording around it and having like an even anime version, you can do that with a fairly easy amount of budget, right? So I can't tell how much it will cost you because these are the third parties and we don't have any control over them. We just train them. And they're not the only ones that you can use. You can go out, use the other ones, obviously. But what I would do is, do you have an account representative at Google?
No.
Okay. So in terms of marketing objectives, there are different ways that you can use in terms of how much I could spend my budget on my advertisement. And I can't really say what it is because then I would really need to see, okay, you know what? What's the share of your voice? How many people are you trying to reach? Are you having an objective of reach, or are you trying to take an action, right? So these are all kind of questions that we need to work on. But it solely depends on your objectives. If I would say anything to you, then it would be misguiding.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Any other questions?
There's one in the back.
So maybe if you can throw it back, we'll get it over there.
Or it's the best part of conferences.
Oh.
I'm wondering about the organic element. I know if you have created content, obviously you're going to push it with an advertising budget. I'm just wondering about the side of it where people are just searching on YouTube in general. Is there, like, how that connects to,
right,
you know, how you create your content and how you try to get, is there any point in going after subscriptions and going after organic search results?
Right. Good question. So the question is, should we care about subscriptions and organic traffic? Absolutely, yes. Because that's the area that you can build a loyal customer space, right? These are the people who are subscribed to your channel. It will be easier for you to show your message. It's going to be easier. It's like a group of friends that you hang out, right? How often you hang out with them, it depends on you, right? How often you put your content. But it's fairly important if you build a good ad, that it will lead it to your channel or to your brand, to your website or to your channel, right? So at that point, it is fairly important. Are you going to be able to be the next viral video? That's a question, right? So the starting point is always probably ads. but it is important to have a good channel and organize it and keep it simple and easy to watch. It is important to have them, but it's kind of like a question of, should I have an app for my business, or should I just go with my website kind of question? It's different customers. One is your loyal client hub, the other one is the people who are just using your services. I think if you have the bandwidth, definitely put your effort in the channel as well with the subscriptions.
Is there anything you'd recommend, any one thing to try and work on the organic element?
To be honest, I can't talk for the sake of organic side, but if you're doing a good content, it usually works on organically as well. If you do a good ad that kind of interests the people that you're trying to reach, it has the same effect or kind of similar effect to bring more people into your channel. Because at the end of the day, those are the targeted people, right? You're not showing your ad to everybody. You're showing your ad to who it might be related to. So these are most likely to be your subscribers. But then again, it's an area for organic, and it's an area that is a little bit out of my scope as it's not an ad.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. I think we have one more if you could throw across there.
And people are really good with this.
Hey, no, just more so from the content kind of creation side of things, I find that clients now are requesting that everything be kind of captioned and subtitled. And I find that that's significantly impacting kind of post-production time and stuff. And just from a viewership point of view, how important do you think that, say, like a long-form piece of content that sits on YouTube needs to be captioned or subtitled?
Good question. Again, this one, depending on your marketing objective, if I would be talking to you and if you ask me this question, I would probably ask, what is your message? Is it a tough one to go through? Are we doing an English content for Ireland, or are we doing an English content for Germany, right? So sometimes it's useful to have the subtitles, but be very careful that if you don't put it correctly, like I showed you into the blue area, that it might be under the buttons, right? So then it wouldn't look neat, right? So if you're absolutely sure that you're going to fit it in the right place and it's going to give you a message, and your message is a difficult one to convey, it's useful to put the subtitles. And it's something you're seeing it. At the same time, hopefully, with what we learned from audio, you're hearing it. And if you can follow it through with the subtitles, why not? But try to be careful in terms of you don't have much time. You have only 5 seconds to win the audition, right?
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Oh, we've got one here at the front.
It's going to be a challenge.
Just here to the left. There we go, teamwork.
Gym class.
Sorry. How are you?
It helps me to get the easy questions, you know, first trying to catch it.
Yeah,
Please.
no, I follow a few people on YouTube, and they actually have different channels that deal with different topics. So, for example, I want to make videos in English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Right.
So, should I have one channel with all the languages, or 3 different channels for the different audiences?
Again, this is organic area. That's not related too much with the ads. But if you wanted to categorize, having 3 channels would not be a bad idea either, because at the end of the day, your audience will only look for the language that they know, right? So maybe if you're creating the same content but in different languages, I think personally it might be a good idea to open up another channel, but it's just my intuition, because it's organic, right? So there are a lot of things again to talk about. What kind of product are you doing? Is it the content, or it's this solution of a problem? Do they know it? Is it easy for them to understand with different languages? But again, I would do it in a different channels. My pleasure. Okay. Another question?
Time for one.
Do we have time? Yeah?
No? No more questions? Oh, great. Just here. Nice. You redeemed yourself.
Good work.
Talking about the creativity and the numbers, do you see any difference when it's like a video or an animation, like a motion animation? Is there any difference in? Not to be honest. As long as it is suitable for your brand objective, and as long as you use the principles well, with an animation you can do so much more than with a creative which is
thought less of it, right? So there's no correlation being, oh, the video works better than, like the original creator works better than the animation.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Great. Well, I think that is all the time we have for
Yes.
today. So thank you all again for joining us. Remember to fill out that survey if you want to get access to the content. And thank you, Jack.
Thank you so much, guys. See you next time.